Good afternoon. My name is John Caruthers.
My name is Ekene Okoroafor.
We are presenting a predictive analytics study on the new book released by Charles Book Club, The Art History of Florence. Overview. This presentation will include the introduction and motivations for this presentation, data preprocessing, the models we used, the results, and recommendations we have, as well as references.
Okay, so the introduction. So the is about a new book, The Art History of Florence, and the our algorithm is meant to predict exactly the people that will be buying the books and those that won't be buying the books. So we have a data set that's kind of it comprises a data set of 3,200, and likewise it will be predicting on 800 customers to know those that will buy the books and those that won't buy the books. So at first, we read the data set, imported all the required libraries, performed the read and describe function to picture the entire data set. Then we plotted a bar chart of all the column features to get an idea of the distribution of the data. Then, likewise, we did a pre-processing where we plotted the correlation matrix to observe if there is any correlation in data. The correlation data later helped in our sharp analysis to relate that the same features affected our predictions. We dropped the columns SQE and ID columns because it might misrepresent our data. We performed a data normalization, because some of the data were in different orders of magnitude, especially the total purchased and the different purchase timelines. Likewise, we checked to make sure that all the data in our data sets are integers and there was no missing data.
All right. So, following the preprocessing, the removal of the seek and ID numbers, and min-max normalization, I printed off this box plot to demonstrate the span of the data and identify any potential outliers that may appear. Um, I also showed the density plot of the training data set because the distribution of the data would help us in selecting an appropriate algorithm to use. As you can see, the majority of the data is skewed or even exponential in nature, with the exception of gender, the blue line, which is bimodal, and Florence as well is bimodal. But by far, this is an uneven distribution of data, which we will discuss presents some challenges. So the models that we selected were logistic regression, random forest support vector classifier, and I attempted to perform some clustering. You may note for support vector classifier, we did upsampling with SMOTE and dimension reduction with PCA. And lastly, the clustering DB scan was not successful in identifying any clusters.
So for our linear logistic regression, we first carried out a smooth operation to resample the dataset in an oversampling method because some values were greater than the other. Then using logistic regression, we carried out the training and the validation on the trained dataset. Then afterwards, prediction on the testing dataset. At first, we got an accuracy and precision of zero point 0.9 and 0.22. Then it increased to 0.92, and the precision and F1 score dropped to 0.00. Why in the random forest accuracy, we got an accuracy of in the random forest method we algorithm model, we got the accuracy and precision of 0.91 and 0.05. Then it increased to 0.92, and the precision and F1 score dropped to 0.00. Then we plotted the ROC curve for each model.
All right. So our best performing model was the support vector classifier. So I'll go into a little bit more detail, starting with the training. I wanted to prevent overfitting of the models, so I wanted to do hyperparameter optimization, and I plotted this training accuracy curve based on the C value. And you'll notice here it's relatively constant until the hyperparameter value reaches 1, and then it increases, indicating that a overfitting was occurring. So I selected for this a C value of 1. I used a nonlinear kernel, RBF, and I used Smoke to upsample the minority class, which was the purchase of the Florence book. Only 270 of 3,800 customers purchased the book, so we felt Smoke was the best method to upsample that data. And lastly, I did 10-fold cross-validation to check for any overfitting. So the results of the training had an accuracy overall of 70% and ROC of 0.56. You'll notice here that the F1 score for the purchase of Florence and not purchasing of Florence and the true label is roughly 70% each. So this is a fairly good model. And when I ran the cross-validation, it also had a similar accuracy of 70%, indicating that there really wasn't any evidence of overfitting. Now, on the testing data set, I had an overall accuracy of 75%. However, it did not perform as well as I wished. Out of the 68 people that purchased the book, only 25 were actually predicted to have purchased the book. So that really isn't optimal since it's below 50%. It's worse than just best guess. But still, this is the best model that we have on the testing data set.
So we did a comparison of all our results for the logistic regression, random forest, and then SVC. So we chose SVC to be the best result because it was able to predict when the book was purchased, though the accuracy and precision were low, but it seemed more like a realistic prediction. So then, likewise, we carried out a sharp to analyze and get the contribution of each feature in our model prediction. So from the sharp, we got that. So from the sharp, we got that the months since the last purchase, frequency, total money spent have the most sharp mean contribution to the outcome. While Italian art and Italian cookbook have the highest impact contribution to the model. Sorry. So then, so then after we have to then we decided that there is need to do more. So from our analysis, we decided that there is need to do more marketing because from the sharp analysis and our model, it suggested that only the people who buy the Italian book end up buying the new book. And likewise, our suggestion also to the company would be that they need to put up the new book in the front store to entice new readers and buyers of Italian books. Since more from our sharp analysis shows that only those that have bought the Italian books end up buying this particular book. All right, I think that's all for now.
Yep.
And these are our references.
Yep.
And thank you for listening to us.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye.
Bye.